I'm just going to do a quick test piece with static grass using the green scene flocket and using a base mix of static grass. What I'm using is about 40% 4.5mm spring colour, about 40% 6mm winter or straw, and about 20% 4.5mm autumn. This is so the variety of the green colours are growing through the older winter growth, and this gives the nice variety of colour rather than the normal billiard green or billiard table or bowling green grass that you so often see. Gives a nice variety to the colour. So just going to lay a bit of adhesive down. I usually use PVA, a slightly dilute PVA, but for this we'll use this Grassmasters stuff, which is particularly effective and sticky. There's nothing new in what I'm doing here at all. It's only after we've laid the basic layer that we'll be doing something new, and we'll be looking at adding a bit of long grass. So some people like to saturate their grass so you get nothing but a real carpet of grass. I actually quite like to see a little bit of earth through the grass, so I very often don't completely saturate it but leave a little bit showing through, and that'll do for me. So as far as that's concerned, that'll do. Disconnect the earth, and this just being a small sample, I can shake it off like that. This particular glue grips really well. And after that's dry, we'll give it a nice vicious hoover. But meanwhile, that's nice. And actually, I don't know if you can see, but there's a nice variety of length with the 6mm and the 4.5mm. So you don't get that instant uniform billiard table effect. So that's a nice variety. I then usually get some sieved earth and ash, or a mix of the two, and then just sieve very gently over the wet glue on the grass, and that does two things. First of all, it kills the shine of the glue, but also it mats it down and beds it into the surrounding grass and surrounding landscape, and that makes an awful lot of difference aesthetically. Really tones it down and, as I say, beds it into the surrounding landscape very effectively. Having just laid this grass, I've borrowed the domestic tea strainer and got some dried earth out of the garden. I've baked it dry and sieved it and rolled it so it's nice and small, and basically all I'll do is give it a fine dusting generously coating the area I've done, and that gets into all the nooks and crannies like that, and that'll just stick to the glue. Makes a right old mess like this, but that's absolutely fine. As I say, that just sticks to the glue, dulls it down, and after it's all done and hoovered off, it gives a much more realistic patina. We're very used to looking across grass in real life, hence it all looking very green and luscious. Very often, unless it's a nicely manicured lawn, when we look down at grass, we very often do see the earth between clumps or what have you. It's not always a uniform green mat. It's one of those things, look at nature, don't always make it up or look at other layouts. Look at reality and model it, and it's surprising the difference it'll make to your modelling. Right, now I've hoovered the strip of grass, and it's this middle strip of grass here that we've just done. I've hoovered it and got rid of all the excess soil, and you can see actually the grass now looks much more lived in, much more bedded in. The gloss has gone. It's generally got a much more realistic tone and feel to it. Actually, from all angles, looking across it and looking above it, it's a much nicer tone to the whole thing, and that is due to several things. First of all, it's the initial mix of grasses. In there I've got 3 different sorts. As I say, I've got predominantly the spring 4.5 and the winter 6mm, with a smaller proportion of the 4.5 autumn. You can vary it, or indeed you must vary it, according to what time of year and indeed where and what sort of grass you're modelling. So go and look and check and see what sort of grass you're after. And then also the addition of earth or ash to bed the grass in. And it makes the world of difference to what you're looking at. So it's really very simple, but most effective. So in a minute we'll have a look at adding long grass to that and see what a job we can make of that. Find most effective to do plausible tufts of grass in particular, or long grass generally, is actually to use the Woodland Scenics field grass, purely because it comes in nice long lengths. You can buy short lengths of static grass, up to 12mm. The slight problem with that stuff is if you get a field of it, it looks as if it's all been mown to the length of 12mm, quite naturally. Whereas actually clumps of grass and meadows of long grass, when you look at it, it does actually tend to be random length. So, as I say, I like using this stuff because I can